All right, let's break it down. Now, the special look has a lot of repetitiveness from the other, installments of the Star Wars franchise. So we're gonna skip the front half because a good half of this is all reruns. And I love the reruns, but I want to see something new. So let's just keep on going. There we go. Okay. So 1 minute and fucking 13 seconds into this thing before we see something new. Now, I think they did this for one big reason. This movie is supposed to wrap up all the other installments, all the other episodes. So it makes sense that they would put this as a special look. I wouldn't, I definitely wouldn't do this as an official trailer, but as a special look, it makes sense because this story is supposed to conclude the story of the Skywalkers and the whole backstory, everything that has happened up until then, which also makes sense as to why Chancellor Palpatine or Darth Sidious is in this film too, because he ultimately is the big bad for this chronological story. Now, I'm a big prequels fan, actually. Star Wars Episode 3, oddly enough, is my favorite movie out of all the Star Wars. And the reason why is because I'm a big emotional person, so if you can grab me by the feels, if you can get me right in the heart, then you're probably going to win me over. And although Episode 5 has a really, really emotional scene, which is the Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, I am your father scene. Sorry if that's a spoiler alert. You're a few years too late. But that movie in itself isn't really an emotional movie for me. What is an emotional movie is, I think Star Wars Episode 3 has more weight. So that's my favorite movie, and I hope that this is up there as well. So let's get into it. Now, right off the bat, we have the trilogy that we should have had, or the trio that we should have had. Instead of scattering everybody to random places on the galaxy, we should have had like a team up in Episode 7, definitely in Episode 8, where we all come together, we all tackle the problem together. Instead, they're all doing a bunch of random shit that really nobody cares about. Finn's off hanging out with Rose that nobody really vibed with, doing some weird Canto Bite thing in Episode 8. Rey is kind of learning the Force, but not really. Poe is in the middle of doing like a coup and acting like a total idiot, even though Episode 7 showed no signs of him being a total idiot. And so it didn't make any sense. And I would have rather of them come together and been more of like an Indiana Jones adventure film than it being just 3 sporadic character arcs that are trying to be developed at random times. It didn't really make a lot of sense to me. Moving on, I hope that Carrie Fisher's footage, the stuff that they have left, is done with justice and used appropriately because she deserves an even better send-off than the last time. So her being Mary Poppins didn't really do it for me. This is a beautiful scene. I love this. Where is it at? See if we can't find it. And stop. This stuff is awesome. I'm all about making sure that we come up with creative ways of sometimes shooting the same thing. So if you remember back to Episode 2, at the end of Episode 2, when they're all loading the clone troopers onto their ships, it's very much like this. But it's just a different take on it. It's beautiful, and I'm excited to see it on the big screen. So we're going, I swear to God, if we do another Death Star, I'm going to freak out. I'm going to freak out. So I'm kind of hoping that they found a way to make this technology and shrink it down to maybe not planet destruction level, but to definitely city level kind of destruction, and putting it on some sort of, spaceship instead of having to do a giant Death Star planet destroying mechanism, because I think that's a little bit much. Okay, very cool. We have yet to see a Star Wars throw besides Episode 6, where Darth Vader throws it at Luke, but it doesn't return back to him. It falls to the floor and then uses the Force to bring it back to him later. And so this is really, really cool. I don't know why she's doing this. Maybe she felt the Force. Maybe she felt Kylo Ren through the Force, and so she turned around to throw it at him to attack him or something, or maybe there's a stormtrooper that's coming after him or something like that. So I'm kind of excited and intrigued on why she's doing this, or maybe she's just training in the woods, destroying nature, and being just a total anti-planetarian kind of person. But we'll see. Cool. You know, I was kind of hoping that, because this movie is supposed to take place a little bit longer than the difference between 7 and 8. This has a bigger gap. And so I was really hoping that they would have given Kylo Ren an unbroken crystal. I think that's what it is, right? So I really wanted to see just a pure blade at this point, but I guess it doesn't really matter. I was just kind of hoping to see that little piece of the character development, but hey, it's okay. Super neat scene, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful water. I'm a big ocean person. I love seeing water in films, especially giant tidal waves like this. I wonder what planet they're on. This is definitely the planet where the Death Star is, and this might actually be part of the Death Star. And so I'm really intrigued to see what comes out of this. I want to know what planet they're on. I mean, if it's the first Death Star, maybe they're on a moon surrounding Endor. But if it's Episode 6 Death Star, the Death Star 2.0. No, other way. Yavin 4 is Episode 4. Endor would be a moon of Endor, would be Episode 6. There it is. Almost fucked that up. I almost got just a bajillion comments in the comment section. You fucking idiot, because you can't even get that right. I saved it. All right. But the fighting looks way better. Let's kind of go through this. I don't have the sound on, but that's for copyright stuff. But the fighting looks a lot better in that. You don't get to see a lot of it, but I think that Episode 8's fighting was terrible. What was worse was Episode 7's, because it made no sense how she could even hold her own against Kylo Ren, and it was choppy. It was a mess. Episode 8 made no sense how she could hold her own against some of the best guards in the galaxy. So I hope that they really up their game when it comes to that. And then Darth Sidious speaks a little bit, and then we get this. Let's go through some theories. I'm going to do a whole video on the theories of Rey, but let's go through a few of them. One, that she actually turns to the dark side. I hope that they don't go with this, because this is my least favorite of the few that I'm going to spit out. I hope that they don't go with this because it makes no sense based off of how they've developed the character up until then. It would be a total 180, and I don't want to see it. There's not enough time in this film to develop the puppeteering aspect of Darth Sidious to convince me that Rey fell to the dark side. I want to see her be a Jedi, even a gray Jedi, but it doesn't make a lot of sense for her to be a Sith or a dark side user, because they don't use Sith anymore. But if she is going to go to the dark side, I was really hoping that I would again see a real blade instead of this broken crystal thing. Here's another theory. She has a twin. She has a twin sister. Star Wars is notorious for having twins, Luke, Leia. So maybe she has an identical twin, and it's Rey versus Rey, which would be interesting. Maybe Darth Sidious has been training this evil version of Rey for, X amount of years to prep her to take on Rey, and potentially Kylo as well, to get back on top of ruling the galaxy or whatnot. So I think that would be an interesting take. I'd actually really like to see that. Another one would be that it's a dream, which I kind of referenced in my trailer reaction. Now, a dream would be kind of interesting because we kind of see that in a lot of different Star Wars films. We see the vision thing where Luke goes down into the cave and, fights himself as Darth Vader. I think that would be cool. So it could be that. Could be Darth Sidious just kind of fucking with her. And then the last one that it could be is that she's a clone. Now, I think we're kind of getting into some weird, murky waters with that. I think a better option would be the twin option. Clones, it's a little different. It's a little bit too far. I think you would lose a lot of the common goer, moviegoer. I don't think you would really resonate that with them. But Episode 8 does set it up accidentally or purposefully in the underwater cave kind of deal that Rey is in, where she's snapping and there's a bunch of different Reys kind of in that same area. And instead of it being a mirror like most people thought, including myself, maybe it was showing her that there's actually a lot of you. Maybe she's the original, but maybe she's just a clone. Maybe this is the original. Maybe this Rey is the original Rey, and they meant to make clones to create an army of these villains, and it didn't work out, and so it ended up kind of being split down the middle. One good Rey who maybe got saved by somebody, dropped off on Jakku, and evil Rey's been looking for her ever since. Could be that. I don't know if I really want to see that. I'm undecided. So let me know in the comments what you think about that theory. Maybe you can win me over. But right now, I'm kind of leaning towards wanting to see the twin thing. I think there'd be more emotional weight to that. You could really spin that to make it creative, and you'd have good dialogue with that instead of saying, oh, clone, this is you. And you're not actually the real original clone. This one is. Ooh, I don't know. We'll see. Let me know what you think, and then I think that's the end. Yeah. So that is the breakdown. Those are my thoughts. I'm going to do probably tomorrow because I got other things to do in the gym. But I'm probably going to do a breakdown of the theories, and make sure to watch that video. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share the video if you so enjoyed my reaction and breakdowns. I really do hope that you would stick around for the ride. We're going for 10,000 subscribers. See you later.